Hi, and welcome to Web3 Unfiltered, the podcast where we cut through the noise, the jargon, and the speculative hype to deconstruct the mechanics of the decentralized economy. I am your host, Collins Victory Odabi. On this episode, we are looking at the timeline of the internet. If you want to build a high level strategy in this space, you have to understand that Web3 isn't a new thing appearing out of nowhere. It is the third act of a very specific technical evolution. Let's start with Web 1.0. Think of this as the read only era. This was the 1990s, the age of static web pages. It was basically a giant digital library. You could go to the website, read the information, and leave. There was no logging in, no commenting, and no profiles. It was decentralized in spirit because anyone could host a server, but it was passive. Then came the mid 2000s, Web 2.0. This was the read write era. We moved from static pages to interactive platforms like Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and for the first time, users weren't just consuming content, they were creating it. But here is the hard truth about Web 2.0. You are the product. To make the web interactive, we handed over our data to a few massive corporations. They provided free tools, but in exchange, they built silos. They own your identity, they own your audience, and they own your data. If they decide to deplatform you tomorrow, your digital existence vanishes. This is a systemic failure of trust. This brings us to Web3. This is the read, write, own era. The mechanic here is a fundamental shift in architecture. In Web 2.0, your data sits on a server owned by a company. In Web 3, your data sits on a blockchain, a global neutral ledger. You don't log in with a username and password that a company can reset. You connect with a private key that only you control. This is about data sovereignty. In Web 1.0, you looked at the web. In Web 2.0, you lived on the web. In Web 3, you own the web. But let's be practical. If Web3 is so much better, why hasn't anyone switched yet? The answer is friction. Web 2.0 has world-class UI UX. It's convenient, yes, but Web3 currently is cumbersome. We are asking users to manage seed phrases and sign transactions for every action. The strategic takeaway for builders is this. We are currently in the transition phase. We are moving from a world of platforms to a world of protocols. A platform, Web 2.0, is a walled garden. A protocol, which is Web 3.0, is an open piece of infrastructure that anyone can build on. If you're a founder, your goal isn't just to build a decentralized version of Facebook. It is to build a system where the value flows to the participants, not the gatekeepers. Web 3 is the return to the open spirit of Web 1.0, but with the interactive power of Web 2.0 and the added layer of digital ownership. So that wraps up today's episode of Web3 Unfiltered. We've deconstructed the three eras of the web and identified why ownership is the only path forward for a sovereign digital future. If you found this episode valuable, don't forget to share it with your network and subscribe to Web3 Unfiltered so you never miss an insight. Until next time, stay sharp, stay curious, and keep building.